Welcome back, Physics 30. So hopefully you had a chance to start this last one in which there's three vectors. So an airplane trip involves three legs with two stopovers. The first leg is east for 620 kilometers. The second leg is going 440 kilometers for east 45 degrees south. And the third one is going 550 at that direction there. So we have three different directions. So I'm going to try to fit them all here. So we have a vector V1, vector V2, and vector V3. Okay, so the first one is relatively straightforward. This is simply south for 620. So V1 is 620 south. So if I was looking at an X movement and a Y move, V1X and V1Y. Of course, in my X movement, I've moved 0, and in the Y movement, I've moved 620, but since it's pointing straight down, it is negative. So again, and don't be afraid to draw this if you need to. Plus X, minus X, plus Y, negative Y. So straight south is negative Y. V2 is 440 east-south. So east-south is this direction. So east, and it tells me my two components. It's an east and a south. East and south. It's not quite 45 degrees there, but it's close. And this one's 440. So V2 is 440. That's what that one is. So really all these vectors represent the hypotenuse. So V2x, figuring that out, as we can see in this case it's the adjacent side. So we're going to be using cos of 45 equals V2x over the hypotenuse 440. So V2x is equal to 440 multiplied by cos of 45. That's going to give me 311.1269 kilometers. And that x is moving to the right, which is positive x. So I'll put a positive there. Now since this is a 45-degree angle, you know what V2y is going to be. It's going to be the same because they're split in half. So V2y, 440. So V2y is equal to 440 multiplied by the sine of 45. That is also going to give me 311.1269. But of course it's pointing straight down, and straight down is a negative for the y. So there we go. We have both of those. And then V3, we're going west, south, so it's pointing this way. And of course the two components, west and south. West and south. And that angle is 53. So here's my V3x and my V3y. And of course this was 550, or as the cool kids say, 550. So that is V3. All right, so to figure out the x direction, it's the adjacent side, so we are using cos. V3x over the hypotenuse, 550. So V3x is equal to 550 multiplied by the cos of 53. And that is going to give me, what does that give me? That gives me 330.9983. Go a few decimal places there. And V3 is pointing west. And west, of course, is negative x. So I'm going to put a negative there. And to figure out V3 in the y direction, it's the opposite side. So yes, opposite over hypotenuse is sine. So V3y is equal to 550 multiplied by the sine of 53. So that is going to give me, now it's pointing straight down, so I know that's going to be negative, so slap a negative in front. We have to assign these signs because we won't get them automatically by calculating. 439.2495. Good. And if you notice down here, I kind of gave some hints here towards the answers. Except don't round off like this. Go at least a few decimal places. So what else we can fit on this piece of paper? We could likely fit, we could almost fit the whole thing here. I'm not sure if I gave you a piece of paper after this or not, but I could almost fit the whole thing on here if I wrote small enough. Hopefully you did too. If not, grab another piece of paper. So V1x plus V2x plus V3x. So V1x, of course, was 0. V2x was plus 311.1269, and V3x was negative 330.9983. So that's going to give me a grand total of 600 to the positive, and then 1286. And Vy, the sum of all the Vy's, so I have a Vy1 and a V2y and a V3y. So my first Vy was negative 620. My second Vy was negative 311.1269. And my V3y was negative 439.2495. And that's going to give me a grand total of negative 750. Yeah, because we have, let's see here. All right, I see that I made a mistake. This one was east. This one was east. So this V1 was actually this direction. I apologize. That's all right. So let's get rid of that. It's actually pointing due east. So that's 620, and this is 0. Oh my gosh, made a mess. That's okay though. So now here, this will make much more sense here, because 311 minus 330, you know, is not 600. These almost cancel each other out. And if I have my 620 here, that makes sense now. I had the right answer because I worked it out. In this video, I just kind of mixed it up, darn it. So east for 620. And my y is 0. And then over here, of course, this is going to be 0. Okay, so just a minor fix-up. So negative 311 and negative 439 is negative 750.3764. So I apologize for that. We have a little bit of a mess over here, but yes, east for 620. In the previous question, it was south. All right, so drawing this, I have a positive x and a negative y component. So my positive x is 600.1286 kilometers. And then my y is negative 750. To draw a negative, I draw it straight down. So 750.3764 kilometers. So start, finish. So my resultant vector is from start to finish. And that's what it is right there. So if I work it, let's see here, so VR is going to be equal to the square root of 600.1286 squared plus 750.3764 squared. And when you plug that in your calculator, I think you get 960.8428 kilometers. If we round that off to 3 sig figs though, keep that, that's my guess. This is an 8, so that gets bumped up by 1, so we get that. And then using tan, because we have the opposite side and adjacent, so tan of theta equals opposite over adjacent. So theta is equal to the inverse tan of 750.3764 all over 600.1286. If you type that in, I think you get 51.3 degrees. So the overall answer is VR is equal to 961 kilometers. And the direction, if we drew it with the X first and then the Y, it would be east, 51.3 degrees south. If you had drawn it the other way, if you drew the Y first, going to negative 650, then the east one, I think the direction there works out to be south, 38.7 degrees east. So either one of those directions is acceptable. Just make sure you pick one of them and you'll be okay. All right, so that's how you do that. So you should be ready to do the assignment with that one. I think there's one of these or two of these. And then I have a little mock quiz you can try too using this. All right, we'll see you again.